Hello and thanks for joining me. So today we end up doing some stamping into texture paste here and also with some crackle paste. And I start with the crackle paste and then decide I want to do the same thing with texture. So then that way I can see which one I like better. And I end up liking, I think, the actual texture paste and not the crackle paste a little bit better. But, you know, they're both pretty cool. But I think that the actual paste ends up showing up a little bit more that we stamped into it versus the crackle, where the crackle ends up taking over. But I think they really are, you know, a couple of cool projects, and just end up adding some ideology embellishments. So they're basically the same, but so different. So, yeah, thank you for joining me, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started. I've got some crackle paste here, and I'm just going to put a layer pretty thick on here because we are going to stamp into it. And I've seen this done with texture paste, but not with crackle, so we'll see how this goes. As you can see, that's pretty, let me get this so it doesn't fall. It's pretty thick. And so I've got the PaperArtsy, what number was this? The Tracy Scott ETS 25. I really like how bold these accent stamps are. So let's go, plus they were on my desk. It's sliding around a little bit, but I'm just trying to keep it steady and press in there. Let's see how the circles do. And just because I can't clean it right away, I'm going to put it in a puddle of water. Oops. This is wet. Spritz it. Might be too much water. I don't want to get a puddle on there. I'm keeping this kind of off to the side because I'll probably have some kind of accent here. Yeah, I like the circle. Let's overlap this. Okay, let's let that dry, see what happens. Get these stamps cleaned up. Okay, so I also decided to do just a texture paste. So we're going to do both side by side and see which one, doing exactly the same technique, and decide which one's better. But the crackle paste page, I mean, I know this is pretty cheap index cards just from my local dollar store, but this really didn't hold up well. It squeezed in the paper, so I'm just going to tape it onto a watercolor piece because I really want it to be quite sturdy to hold up to the liquidy kind of mediums that we're going to be putting on here. So I'm just going to get this taped down. better, but it either shrunk it or my other watercolor card's a little bit bigger, but well, I guess that's not quite lined up, but it's better anyway. So these are both dry now, and I've got some distress paint here. I've got bundled sage, pumice stone, scattered straw, and ground espresso. So I'm going to start first with getting the ground espresso down into these grooves. Oh, that's a lot. And let's see. Let's get a stiff bristled brush. And this ground espresso is really nice because it's very translucent and kind of has like this already antiqued kind of chocolatey feature. It's very, very wet. Adding more water just so it gets down into all those grooves. Go a little more concentrated in some areas. Yeah, I like that. Let's let this dry, see how it holds up and what color we're going to have. Okay, so I'm going to go with a smaller brush. What do I got here? Princeton 4. And concentrate more in some of these shaded areas like here. And I think at this point I'm really liking the texture paste better. But we'll see. There's also the plan to take a sandpaper to this too, so the higher areas will turn more of a white and stick out more. Okay, let's let that one dry. This one, same thing. Just really trying to get the eye to see that there's some good texture in here. Okay, so this is dry. Let's add some of our colors now with the dry brush. I'm going to put them out on my scrap piece here. So we've got a little bundled sage. Geez, this might be empty. Yeah, pretty close. Let's just... Because that's so dark, these are my light or my mediums. I guess the pumice stone can be a medium. So yeah, this is a dry brush. And let's start with some of the green. It's a little thicker. And you know what? I think I'm going to sand it down a little bit first. This is really, really rough. Put them on a piece of wood. It's just going to allow for the color to take a little better. This is still kind of the way it's crumpling off. It's still not completely dry. Probably would have been good to do it overnight, but who has time for that, right? Better. I'm kind of using the edge of my brush I'm not really seeing that much, so let's get into the scattered straw. Okay, let's let that dry for a minute. Now what I've got some of the photo booth pictures that I'm going to put on each one, but these are really, really thick. Let's see. So what I like to do, or what I'm going to do, is split off some of the backing of this. So then that way I can crumple it up easier and distress it. So, and then I'm just going to spritz the back lightly with my really fine mister, and then kind of crumple. And then allow those to dry. And maybe even where some of the crinkle is, just go in and, because I just want this to look like maybe they was in their pocket quite a bit. And then I'm actually going to put it back down on my piece of wood and go with rough the edges up. It's still a little damp. Okay, we'll let these dry. Lots of dry time with this project. Okay. So, and because you know I can't waste things, I'm going to spritz and then lay my tag down in here. A tag. Okay, and now I've got another background waiting to go. Okay, so I've kind of figured out the layout and I swapped pictures. I also had some little wood frames. I don't know who makes them or anything. They were actually given to me in Happy Mail. This paper doll here, I want it to be more vintagey looking. So I'm just adding some vintage collage medium. And then we're going to take and put this on top of it. And then I'm going to trim off the bottom here. Like so. And then I've got this here, so I'm just going to use this because it's open. Oops. This is just, remember this tag that I cleaned that up with? That's just die cut from there. Just wanted to close off this back. So let's get this clamped just for a couple minutes. And that's going to go here. Because this is so ruffled, I think I'm going to use glue dots. You can use anything you have. I just want glue dots that'll adhere quickly. Although, actually, it's kind of fuzzy in the back. The glue dots don't want to stick. So let's just use collage medium. Oops. Okay, and then I kind of roughed this up a little bit more just so I could bring it right to the edge. And then this is going to go here. And then I've got this little heart here. Let's add that.
This one you're talking about? Yeah.
Add that like that. Let's get this one going. Okay, so this little guy, you actually have to trim this a little bit more so it doesn't come out the edge of the frame. And then I kind of wanted like as if he would have a collection of goodies from being a little boy. there's that. I kind of have, oh, it's not lined up. Okay. Have this somewhere here. And I've just got a collection of a Coke bottle and stuff like that that I think will go good here. This might be too much. Yeah, too much. Okay, let's let this all dry and then see how we're going to finish it off. Okay, so these are all dry. That's how they turned out. And I'm going to edge them with a little bit of straight, ground espresso. And what I did is I ended up adding a little bit of Idea-ology trinkets there. And then same, yeah, you see me add those in there. And then I'm going to take and add this back into the bottle. It's a lot. I don't want to waste it. Okay. And then I've got some of the book clippings, I think they're called. And I'm just going to add some of these. I like a record of the past. Let's see. Traveling companion, he's with the dog. Every road shall have a path. Let's see over here. Let's see. Loving Hearts. Where do I want this one? Let's just do one down here. we go. So I don't know if, I don't know, I think I end up liking the texture paste better than I do the crackle, just because it really shows up that we stamped into it. But all in all, I like both of them. So all set. Thank you for joining me. Be sure to subscribe.